Hey everybody, EchoV here, and the Poké Ball. Arguably the most important tool in a Pokémon Trainer's arsenal. You can't catch Pokémon without them, and I doubt you to win any battles without them, so don't even try. Oh, okay. Never mind the last part then. Anyway, from both a design and technological standpoint, the Poké Ball is amazing. It has a simple design, and yet, somehow, with the power of science, any creature, regardless of its size, can somehow fit inside what is basically a high-tech baseball. And of course, with each new edition, some are better than others. There are also some that are worse than others. So for this video, I'll be talking about what Pokeballs that I think are both the best and worst, with 5 entries each. Anyway, here we go! They say save the best for last, so let's start the worst Pokeballs first, and first up is the Heal Ball. While the Heal Ball has the same catch rate as a regular Pokeball, it has the added benefit of fully healing your Pokemon after it's been caught. It's basically free healthcare. Huh, I wonder what that's like. Now, because Heal Balls are normally obtained early in the adventure, it's a great idea so you don't have to constantly rush back to the Pokemon Center. Downside, however, is that when you get your full team, where does the next caught Pokemon go? And what's right next to it? So basically, the Heal Ball is strictly an early game ball, and once that's done, it's pretty much a Pokeball, at which case it's better to either use a Pokemon instead, or, you know, a better ball. Next up is the Premier Ball. You can't buy this normally, and the only way to get it is to buy at least 10 Pokeballs and you get it for free. It's a great deal since in the early game, it's pretty much an extra Pokeball for free. Now, according to its description, it's specifically made to commemorate an event of some sort. And what's that event, you ask?
Nothing! Now get out!
What?
Get out!
Yeah, it's nothing! It's just an extra Pokeball that works the same as a regular Pokeball. Yay! Next on the list is the Beast Ball. After a drought of not getting any new Pokeballs in Generation 6, even though they introduced the literal factory in that generation, Gen 7 brings us the Beast Ball. And I'm gonna say it now, I hate Pokeballs that are aimed for a specific group of Pokemon, with the Beast Ball in particular being aimed towards Ultra Beast. Now don't get me wrong, story-wise, it's a great idea to have a Pokemon that's specifically tailored for Ultra Beast, but that fails when in gameplay, any Pokeball can work against them. I mean, sure, it has the strongest catch rate at 5 times, but again, that's only for Ultra Beast. And the worst part of it all, if for some reason you decide to save your Beast Balls and try them out for any other Pokemon, well, guess what? It has a 0.1 times catch rate. Not 1, 0.1. So, not only is it only good for one group of Pokemon, it's useless against anything else. At least another Pokemon coming up later is still useful. Yeah, this ball may have the word Beast in its name, but you're not getting 10 grand out of it anytime soon. Next, the Safari Ball. Picture this. You finally made it to Fuchsia City. There's a lot of things to do, but the first thing in your mind is the Safari Zone, so you rush in. And then to your surprise, you receive 30 Safari Balls for 500 bucks. What a steal! You eagerly enter, and you encounter your first Pokemon, and what? It's you against the Pokemon? Something's not right. Either way, you throw the ball, and somehow it works! So anyway, you encounter another one, and it fails? Dang it! But thankfully, it works on the second try. So you go for a third one, and fails once, twice, and then... No! It runs! Dang it! Yes, for some reason, you can't battle the Pokemon Safari Zone, which is kinda ironic, I mean, considering the main with Pokemon that you can't go in the tall grass without a single Pokemon, and yet when it comes to Safari Zone, it's perfectly fine to go toe-to-toe with them. And that's when you realize that the price is justified. A ball that has a catch rate of 1.5 in a bag of curry for the price of 2.5 Pokeballs? Yeah, that price is too good to be true. And for the worst Pokeball, we have the Moon Ball. This thing is weird. It has a catch rate of 4 times, which is great until you realize that it's only effective for Pokemon that evolve with a Moonstone? Hey! Remember when I said earlier that I hate Pokeballs made for specifically a certain group of Pokemon? Well, the Moon Ball does the same thing for both Midos, Clefairy, Jigglypuff, Skitty, and Munna. Because, yeah, they're so difficult to capture that I need a special Pokeball for that. Said no one ever. And the worst part? In Gen 2 only, you know, the generation that introduced these new kinds of Pokeballs. Because of a programming error, this ball was glitched and instead had a catch rate of, get this, 1. It's a Pokeball in disguise. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. And now for the Wildcard Pokeballs. Basically, these are Pokeballs that don't belong to either the worst or best Pokeballs category. And of course, first up, or rather the trio in this case, are the actual Pokemon itself and its upgrades. Simply because they're the basic ones. You know, Pokeball's the beginner ball, Great Ball's the mid-game ball, and Ultra Ball's the late-game ball. Their introduction to the idea of killing Pokeballs and beating better ones as your journey continues, that I feel like they couldn't be put into any of the 2 categories. And lastly is the Master Ball. Surprised that I wasn't going to put in the best Pokeballs list? Well, you shouldn't be. I mean, yeah, I get it. The Master Ball is the undisputed best Pokeball out there with a guaranteed capture rate. But the problem is that there's only one. Just one. I mean, technically, you can get another one of course, but the problem with that is that you need to match 5 digits. To put the rarity into perspective, I've caught numerous shiny Pokemon, encountered Pokerus 3 times, and I still haven't got a second Master Ball. I've come close, but I still failed. Heck, in most of my playthroughs, the Master Ball just sits in my bag for all eternity. Alone. And now we move on to the best Pokeballs, and first up is the Quick Ball. I'll admit, it feels odd to me to put the Quick Ball first on this list, since out of all the Pokeballs, this is the one I use the most. But just because it's the most used, doesn't mean it's the best one. Let me explain. The Quick Ball has an amazing 5 times capture rate, but only on the first turn, before it basically becomes a Pokeball on turn 2 onward. It might not be much, but 1 turn can be the difference between catching a Pokemon or accidentally fainting it and having to find one again. Next is a 2-way tie between the Luxury Ball and the Friend Ball. You know what's annoying? Friendship. You want to know what's more annoying? Friendship in Pokemon. For some reason, despite what the anime likes to tell you, Pokemon aren't your friends by default and you have to raise it. Especially if some of those Pokemon need friendship to evolve. Why did you lie to me, anime? I thought we were friends. Thankfully, you can force friendship to your Pokemon thanks to these 2 Pokeballs. While they have a simple 1 times catch rate, the Luxury Ball doubles the amount of friendship increase for that Pokemon, while the Friend Ball sets it to 200. This is beneficial since friendship evolutions become so much easier, as well as maxing the damage of the move return. Now if only this thing existed in real life for people. That would be a dream. Ball. Another 2-way tie, this time with the Dive Ball and the Net Ball. In Pokemon, the most common typing is the Water type, and it seems Game Freak knows this very well, and so introduced these two to deal with the abundance of water types. Makes you wonder why IGN still gave that score. While both have an amazing 3.5 capture rate on water types, I put the netball slightly higher due to the added effect of being able to catch bug types. And yes, I know the lure ball exists, and while it has a better 4 times capture rate, it's only effective for fish encounters, which, let's face it, isn't really that helpful. So it better get good, or it'll just remain as the clown, constantly lying to itself. God! I can't believe I said that. At the penultimate spot for the best Pokeball is the Timer Ball. Let's face it, trying to catch a Pokemon isn't always an easy task, and sometimes, depending on the catch rate or the type of Pokemon you've encountered, it's gonna take some time and a lot of turns to get in, which is where this Pokeball comes in handy. While the formula for the Timer Ball isn't easy to understand, just know that at the 10th turn, its effectiveness is 4 times. To understand how strong that power is, that is twice the power of an Ultra Ball. I know, 10 turns seems like a lot, but if you've taken the time to perform other tasks such as weakening it, inflicting status ailments, as well as using any of your other Pokeballs, then that 4 times effectiveness will be set up in no time. And at the final spot of number 1, as was the best Pokeball in my opinion, is the Dusk Ball. Now while the Dusk Ball is only useful halfway, I still consider it the best Pokeball. And why do I call it only useful halfway? Well, that's because the Dusk Ball has a good 3 times catch rate, but it's only active during nighttime or in a cave. While, yes, that technically limits the effectiveness of the Dusk Ball, but considering the abundance of caves in the world of Pokemon, you are not gonna have a limited number of catches. Heck, some legendaries even like to make themselves at home in a cave. And even if you don't have any plans to go spelunking in a cave to catch any Pokemon, remember that some Pokemon can only be found at night in the overworld, as well as some Pokemon being obtained during both day and night as well. With that kind of power for a 12-hour period of the day, I'd say it's worth waiting for nightfall and having a few extra catches along the way. And that's it for the video. Agree, disagree, or whatever my Pokeball picks, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If it's your birthday today, then happy birthday. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye everyone, be good to each other.